Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us for tonight's school board meeting, July 28th, 2026. We are going to begin with public comment. Good news, we don't have any, so you don't have to sit through that. Then we'll move into our Pledge of Allegiance, and I would like to ask Melissa Miffleton, our principal at Northfield Elementary, and Sia Phillips, our principal at Salem Elementary, to step forward and lead us in our pledge. After that, we will have our moment of silence, so just remain standing for that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now our moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. All right, board members, you have seen a copy of the agenda for tonight's meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as printed?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Long. Do I have a second?
Second.
I think that was 3 seconds. Ms. Price, we'll go with you. Any comments or questions on the agenda? All those in favor of approving the agenda as printed, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And our agenda is approved. Next, communications. Ms. Lisa Trail.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, we want to start off with a few congratulations. First to Miss Amy Jackson. Miss Jackson has been named the Teacher of the Year state finalist. So I know I keep talking about her because she just keeps on moving up that ladder, so we're so proud of her. Miss Jackson is representing Discovery School. Also representing Discovery School here tonight, they were named a School of Merit and a School of Distinction by the National Beta Club. Dr. Duke's going to talk more about that, but congratulations to you guys. That is huge to have both distinctions coming at you. I also want to take time just to thank all of the nonprofits, all of our churches, all of those who have come together just to make our children feel loved and ready for school. We had a huge event Saturday night at Mitchell Nelson Primary. I would guess probably about 900 to 1,000 people came through. At the same time, one of our local churches was also having a backpack event. And then today, we had just hundreds of people working with us with United Way's Stuff the Bus. And it just keeps on going. So there's several other events this weekend. If people are looking for those school supplies, they are out there. And we've got them listed on our website. So again, thank you to all of those nonprofits and churches that are really helping us. It's also time as a parent to verify your enrollment if you've not already done so. I just want to let everyone know Skyward is up. It's going well right now. The attendance secretaries are back in their schools. So as a parent, if you haven't verified your enrollment or you haven't enrolled in school, now is a great time to do it. This week would be just fabulous. We are having open houses at all of our schools next week. Most everyone has an open house on August 5th for those 1st through 6th graders. Sometimes kindergarten is a different day, so look at your school website just to verify that. Pre-K is also a different day, but just it's all on the school websites. Pre-K parents are being called right now to tell them all of the details that goes with that pre-K program. And then congratulations to Overall Creek Elementary. If y'all watched the news, they were named the best public elementary school by the Main Street Awards. So congratulations to Overall Creek. And Dr. Duke, I'll let you talk more about these great Discovery School kids.
Good evening, board. It is time for our July Best of MCS recognition. So we're excited to have this recognition tonight, and it is my privilege to recognize a great honoree, and I'm honored to invite Chef Jack up to the stage or the podium with me. Chef Jack Sawyer is our July Best of MCS honoree. He has been with MCS since 2011, where he has served as a nutrition employee and an assistant manager. Currently, he serves as the district chef, but his impact reaches far beyond meals served in our cafeteria. Every day, he works alongside our school nutrition team, sharing his expertise, encouraging excellence, and helping ensure our students receive nutritious, high-quality meals, but his influence doesn't stop when the school day ends. Chef Jack leads our junior chef after-school program through ESP, and he opens the door to a whole new world of learning for our students. He teaches them much more than how to follow a recipe. They learn knife safety, food preparation, teamwork, presentation, guest service, and the pride that comes from creating something with their own hands. Along the way, they are also strengthening those math, science, communication, and problem-solving skills, all while having fun. One parent shared with me that after participating in the junior chef program, her 10-year-old daughter couldn't wait to begin cooking at home each week. She now confidently tries new recipes and looks forward to spending time in the kitchen with her family. She said what impressed her most was that there were no missed moments during this program. Every interaction became an opportunity for Chef Jack to teach, to encourage, and to inspire his students. We don't get many Best of MCS nominations from a parent, and so it was really great to see that as well. His co-workers shared that students often return to school eager to find Chef Jack just as so they can tell him what they've cooked at home the night before. That's the kind of excitement every educator hopes to inspire. It reminds us that learning doesn't end when the dismissal bell rings, and it continues wherever curiosity and confidence take our students. His supervisor, our school nutrition supervisor, Ms. Saunders, shared that Chef Jack has dedicated his career to teaching the art of cooking and fostering a passion for culinary excellence in others. She described the impact he has not only on our nutrition staff, but on also our students, even sharing that her own son participated in the junior chef program as a fifth grader and has since chosen a culinary path in high school because of the influence of Chef Jack that's had on his life. Board members, I believe that story perfectly captures what the Best of MCS Award is all about. Chef Jack doesn't simply teach students to cook, he helps them discover new talents, build confidence, and see possibilities that they may have never imagined. His passion for serving others, his commitment for excellence, and his investment in both students and staff have made a lasting impact throughout our district. So Chef Jack, on behalf of the School Nutrition Department, Murfreesboro City Schools, and our board, it is my great honor to recognize you as our Best of MCS honoree for July. Thank you for the difference you make every day in the lives of our students.
Opportunity I get every day to work with the kids and stuff. Thank y'all for the ones that have been out to judge and help judge. Hope y'all get to do it again this year because we're going to keep going with the program as long as y'all allow it to happen. And thank y'all for everybody for coming out and supporting us.
Thank you. We're going to keep it.
I am telling you, it is a fabulous program. I partook several times as a judge. And it was so much fun.
Yeah, if you haven't been out there to judge, it's one of the few contests you get to go to. You get a good meal as you're sitting there. The kids take a lot of pride in it. So.
The kids are so excited.
Excellent. Well, next on our agenda, Dr. Duke, you stay right there, I believe,
Yeah.
for recognition of Discovery School students are national winners at the Beta Convention.
That's right. We are so excited, board members, to recognize the outstanding accomplishments of the Discovery School and the National Beta Club Convention. This summer, Discovery students participated in the National Convention to compete against some of the very best students from across the country. I saw today, Ms. Terrell shared with me, there were over 7,000 students from 18 states that participated. And our students represented Murfreesboro City Schools with excellence, bringing home multiple national awards and continuing Discovery's long tradition of outstanding achievement. So before we recognize these individual students, I want to also acknowledge the school itself. As Ms. Terrell mentioned, they earned 2 honors from the National Beta Convention. The Discovery School has been named both a National Beta School of Distinction and a National Beta School of Merit. These recognitions are awarded to schools that demonstrate an exceptional commitment to academic achievement, leadership development, service, and student engagement through their Beta Club program. Earning either of these honors is an accomplishment. Earning both of these is a reflection of the strong culture of excellence that exists at the Discovery School. These honors are a testament not only to our students, but to the dedicated teachers, sponsors, and school leaders who invest in creating the opportunities for students to grow as scholars, leaders, and servants. And I am so proud of them. And at this time, I'm going to invite Dr. Caitlin Bullard to come up, principal of Discovery School, to recognize the sponsors and the amazing students who won some of these awards at the national competition this year. Thank you, Dr. Bullard.
All right, I'd also like to invite our national winners and our sponsors to come up here and join me. Thank you so much, board, to once again come in front of you and celebrate our national winners 2 years in a row. We are very excited to do that. As Dr. Duke said, we were fortunate this year the national competition was in Nashville. We had dozens of students who were eligible through various things such as creating their banners, their 3D design, engineering, robotics, things like that. But we have 3 national winners with us tonight that I'd like to celebrate. So I want to start by recognizing Tosin Adeyemo, who was our 4th grade winner for ELA, and he got 10th place in ELA in the nation. Next, I want to recognize Elena Schrader. She was 5th grade ELA, 6th place in the nation this year in beta competition. And last but not least, she couldn't be with us tonight, but Tala Konfar was 1st in the nation in the drawing competition. So outstanding work to all of them. And of course, none of this would be possible without our sponsors. They invest countless hours in the preparation, the planning, the meetings, the fundraising, and then of course they come and cheer them on and support them both locally at the state level and nationally. I'd like to recognize Beth Warren, Jennifer Hickson, Shay Payne. We have some that couldn't be with us tonight, Kelsey McKnight, Jason Page. I want to recognize Kelly Kleppinger and Tiara Vance, and other staff members too who've poured into this process. So thank you so much for allowing us to join you tonight and to celebrate all of them.
Thank you all so much. That's just outstanding. Thank you for representing us so well. Of course.
6th place nationwide, 10. Now, how many were they competing against?
So in order to place nationally, you have to place in the top 10 places at your state competition. And then for the academics, the arts just continues to go on. They create their art. For the academics, there was another round in May and then another round at the competition.
So they were competing against a large number of other students. Wow, that's great. Mercy.
That's excellent.
All right, thank you guys so much.
Thank you. We're so proud of you. Thanks. And thank you for being here tonight, and to your families who we know support a lot of this, especially in the summer. So great job, parents, as well. Okay, next on our agenda, presentation of Board of Distinction plaque by Mr. Steve Haley from the Dixon County School Board. And he's our TSBA Mid-Cumberland District Director. So thanks for being here, Mr. Haley.
For you. As mentioned, I am on the Dixon County Board of Education, but tonight I'm here in the role of the Mid-Cumberland District Director for your school system, along with many more in Middle Tennessee. One of the greatest things I get to do. So thank you, Chairman Moore, board members, and Dr. Duke. We spend a lot of time working behind the scenes to promote school systems, and a lot goes on not only at our boards but in our schools with our parents and kids, and it's nice to see the recognitions go on. But tonight we're here to recognize you, the board, for your work. It's my privilege to present with you the TSBA Board of Distinction Award tonight. It's one of TSBA's most prestigious awards. I commend the board for meeting the requirements in the 4 key areas of planning, policy, promotion, and board development. As each of you know, the requirements are extensive, and not every board qualifies as a board of distinction. However, this board is amongst the select few. On behalf of the Tennessee School Boards Association, I'm proud to present the Board of Distinction Award to the Murfreesboro City Schools Board of Education. Congratulations for your work.
Thank you very much. And obviously, thanks to all the board members, present and absent. There are requirements we have to meet, and we met them, and it takes the whole team to be able to do that. So I'm glad we've done that. And thanks also to the administrative staff who help us put together that application and make sure Lisa Van Cleve keeps us on track to make sure we check all the boxes we need to check. So thank you, Mr. Haley. Next on the agenda, recognition of new administrative staff for 2026 and 2027. Dr. Duke.
Yes, thank you. It is my privilege to ask several of our new administrators to introduce them formally to the board tonight. So I'm going to ask them if they'll please kind of join me in the middle behind the podium, and you can kind of step up when I call the name. We have several new leaders in our district that I wanted to make sure the board was able to put a face with a name. We're so proud of all of them and welcoming them. First, on the end, I have Ms. Cherie Richardson. She is our new Science and Social Studies Coordinator working in the Instruction Department under Ms. Arnett. I'm excited to welcome her to Murfreesboro City Schools this year. She brings nearly 20 years of experience in education, serving as a classroom teacher, interventionist, and instructional coach. Before entering education, she spent 10 years in the corporate world, bringing a unique perspective and wealth of professional experience to her work with educators and students. She recently completed her EDS degree in instruction and shared that she's excited to take this next step in her career in joining Murfreesboro City School. She joined us a few weeks ago. Since arriving, she's already become a very important part of the MCS team, and we're so grateful to have her. And the exciting things, I was in a room today watching her work with some teachers. It's going to be a great year with Cherie there. So welcome, Cherie. We're so glad to have you here. Next, yes, thank you. Next is Ms. Carissa Chrisman. She is our new assistant principal at Bradley Academy. Carissa brings a wealth of experience to her new role and is certainly no stranger to Murfreesboro City. She served in our district in multiple roles since 2009 and most recently was the lead special education teacher at Irma Siegel Elementary. Throughout her career, she's become a trusted leader and resource, known for her expertise in special education, her collaborative spirit, and her unwavering commitment to students. We are so excited to have her serving the Bradley Academy community, and I know she will be a tremendous asset to that school's leadership team. So welcome, Carissa, to this new role. Crystal Landis is our new assistant principal at Irma Siegel Elementary. She has most recently served as the academic coach at Bradley, where she played an instrumental role in supporting the teachers and strengthening instructional practices. Prior to that, she spent 4 years teaching at Irma Siegel, making this both a promotion and a homecoming for her. She is a widely respected instructional leader in this district and a relationship builder, and we are so excited to have her back at Siegel working alongside Ms. Cox as they take over the helm of that school. So welcome, Crystal. This is Inuel Caraballo. I'd like to introduce him. He is new to Murfreesboro City Schools. He brings 9 years of educational experience, having served as a classroom teacher, an instructional coach, and a school administrator. Throughout his career, he's built a reputation for his strong instructional leadership, collaborative approach, and unwavering commitment to student success. We are thrilled to welcome him to Murfreesboro City Schools and to Case and Lane Academy. He's already jumped in, got a great start, and we're excited to see the great things you're going to do here in the district. And finally, it is my privilege to introduce Ms. Kimberly Hicks officially as our new principal of Case and Lane Academy since Ms. Cox has transferred over to Irma Siegel. Kimberly's entire educational career has been spent serving the students of Murfreesboro City Schools. She served as assistant principal at Case and Lane for the past 4 years and previously taught 7 years at Scales. Along the way, she's been recognized as Teacher of the Year and was selected to participate in the TSIN Innovative Leaders Institute, which just reflects her commitment to continuous learning and leadership. What makes this appointment especially meaningful, though, is that Kimberly is also a proud graduate of Case and Lane Academy. So now she has the privilege of leading the school that helped shape her as a student in what's really a true full circle moment. Anyone that's had the opportunity to work with Kimberly knows her heart, her dedication, and the leadership she brings to the work each day. She has already played an important role in the success of Case and Lane Academy, and I know the school is in excellent hands under her leadership. So Kimberly, I'll give you a second if you'd like to address the board.
Well, thank you. Good evening. It's wonderful to see you. I'm just so honored to be back at Caseland Lane. This is a school that's always had a special place in my heart and really shaped who I am as an educator and as a leader today. And so I'm thrilled to be back and to partner with our incredible students and families and community members, and our staff members, and we're just looking forward to a fantastic year.
All right. So board members, again, please join me in welcoming each of these outstanding administrators to their new roles.
Excellent. Welcome. Some of you are still here, but welcome to your new jobs. We're so glad. Looking forward to a good year. Next on the agenda, Spotlight on Education, highlights of summer professional development sessions.
Well, even though we are just now getting back into the school year, we've had a very busy July. As the board knows, in June, we focused in specifically on our summer school program, and on July, our attention turned to teacher professional development. So I asked Dr. Presnell and Ms. Arnett to give to the board just a brief overview of some of the professional learning that's happened the last few weeks in preparing our teachers for next week.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We have hosted 2 versions of the Summer Literacy Institute. So we started it in summer of 2023, and I know I've shared with you before about it, but this summer we had 2 versions. So our original version centers around the knowledge building modules in our curriculum. So we hosted 23 teachers from grades K through 5 and 3 ESL teachers. They met the week of July the 13th. But our brand new version this year is still 8 hours of pre-work, almost 40 hours of in-person work, but it's focused on our curriculum's skills block, which is the foundational skills part of literacy, which is kind of the nuts and bolts of how do we actually kind of lift the word off the page. That cohort was 33 teachers. 14 of them were for kindergarten. I had to have 2 complete tables of kindergarten teachers, but kindergarten through 2nd grades, and they met the week of July the 6th. I'm proud to report that teachers' feedback really continues to be strong from the program, even with the new version. So with the skills block version, with both, I do a pre and a post survey and to kind of measure impact. For the new skills block version, the survey showed that before the Institute, only 2.9% of teachers said that they deeply understood how the research informed the development of the materials, and the post survey, 100% greatly agreed with that statement. And then for the original version, the survey showed that 0% of teachers strongly agreed that they deeply understood how they were designed, and then afterwards 100% either agreed or strongly agreed with that statement. And really, that's the whole purpose of the Institute, not just to pick up materials and use them because I've asked them to, but to deeply understand the why behind it so that when we get in the classroom, we're more well equipped to actually serve our students well. But here are a few of the comments that they left behind. One said, having the experience of teaching in districts where there was not a provided curriculum and then teaching in MCS, I already had an appreciation for EL education. However, it is so much deeper now. I feel like I truly understand how to use EL now, and I think that's going to make me a much more effective educator. My thinking has also changed in that I thought this curriculum was great for students at or above grade level, but I didn't know how it was helpful for students below grade level. I now believe it is such a great curriculum for all students that I'm excited to put everything I learned into action this upcoming year. Another said, ELA used to be daunting for me. I was terrified over the summer that I would mess up along the line. The Institute has given me a sense of security and understanding of the curriculum, and I feel well equipped to teach ELA this coming school year. And one last comment, my thinking has shifted from feeling that EL is segmented or disjointed, and my instruction revealed that, to now understanding that it is a really well constructed to push my kids to create high quality work. I am capable of using this well, and I'm so excited to go back and begin planning ELA for this year. And teachers excited about planning ELA makes my heart sing. So all told, we now have 210 MCS teachers, coaches, and leaders who have participated in Literacy Institute. I think Dr. Duke asked me in the principals meeting the other day and actually transposed that. I said 120. It's 210, and we have 11 of those whom I call double alumni because they have been through both versions of the Institute. So I'm just grateful for the gift of time and resources to make learning like this happen for teachers, and appreciate all you guys do to support us. Thank you.
If I can just add to that, Kathy, again, as she said, to 40 hours, 5 days. It's an intensive week-long training. We continue to have teachers sign up for it, and year after year, we get those great results of people saying how beneficial it was. On an anecdotal note, I was at the gym on Saturday, and a teacher's husband stopped me and said, "Hey, my wife went through a great training last week. She just loved it." I said, "Well, great. I'm glad to hear that." So the impact is far-lasting. So with that, Sherry.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
Continuing on with the month of July, again, I can't thank Kathy enough for the work she does around literacy and the training of our teachers, and those first 2 weeks of July were just amazing.
I'm going to talk a little bit about new teacher orientation that took place last week. We held our new teacher orientation on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University in the College of Education building. Again, we're very thankful for their partnership. We had in attendance 62 teachers each day, and the sessions had an emphasis on literacy, math, and our science curriculum, along with classroom management and instructional technology sessions. And teachers were able to choose 2 additional sessions on their own, and they absolutely loved that. Along with Kathy, I think when we get quotes back from teachers, that kind of stamps our work and how important it is. So I'd like to share 2 with you this evening. New teacher orientation was a wonderful experience. The MCS staff were warm, welcoming, and full of valuable knowledge. The days at orientation were filled with valuable curriculum information and building relationships throughout the district. Coming in as a new teacher to MCS and being gifted these 2 days really made me feel part of the MCS family. And the next quote, as a first-year teacher, new teacher orientation was incredibly helpful. As my first school year approaches, I've been feeling both excited and nervous. After attending the 2 days of orientation, I feel much more confident and prepared for what's ahead. I had the opportunity to meet new teachers across the district, get to know the leadership team, learn more about Murfreesboro City Schools, and gain a better understanding of the technology we'll be using throughout the year. I also walked away with practical classroom tips and strategies that I know will be valuable as I begin teaching. The orientation was such a positive experience and made me feel even more excited to be in my first year in the classroom. So just a great 2 days last week. And then today, I'm at Irma Siegel. We had MCS Professional Learning Day. I again want to thank Ms. Cox and her team for making us feel so welcome. We offered today 65 sessions, and the presenters were district staff. I tell you, I got to present, and y'all, I just loved it so much, so much. Coaches, SPED staff, gifted coaches, farm to school program, but most of our presenters were classroom teachers. And this was based off feedback that we had received, and I can tell you it was just stellar. We have heard nothing but great things. So I think it says a lot about MCS professional development when you have over 200 teachers attending today, and it's 2 days before they return back to begin the school year. So I can't say enough about our July professional development. The instruction team has worked so hard. And with that, we're ready for a good school year.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you.
People just think teachers get off in the summer. Right?
Exactly. All right, board. Thank you so much for that. Next on our agenda is our consent agenda, the consent items. You have seen those. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Price. Any comments or questions? All those in favor of approving the consent items, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the consent items are approved. All right, moving into action items. First up, approval of Black Fox Elementary Eagle Scout project. Dr. Duke.
Yes, thank you, board members. Our first action item tonight is a request related to an Eagle Scout service project, and I'm pleased to welcome Jackson Baker to the podium, who is seeking approval for his proposed Eagle Scout project at Black Fox Elementary School. So, Jackson, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, sir. Like he said, my name is Jackson Baker. I'm requesting permission to do my Eagle Scout project at Black Fox. If you approve, I will be making 2 buddy benches at Black Fox. They will be decorated colorfully, and we will cement them into the ground to keep them secure. The point of the benches will be that if a kid has no one to play with, they go sit on the bench, and someone will invite them to play with them, hence the name Buddy Bench. This project will benefit the school by reducing the number of kids who feel left out by letting kids sit somewhere so everyone knows they need someone to play with. It will help more kids make friends. This project is important to me because I remember when I went to this school, I was that kid who never had someone to play with, so I understand the effects it can have on a kid. We will also be providing classrooms 1st through 4th with a book about buddy benches, and we will also clean up trash around the school. I hope that you can approve this request. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jackson. All right, board, you have heard from Jackson. We've seen the proposal. Do I have a motion to approve this Eagle Scout project?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Price. Second from Ms. Dodd. Any comments or questions for Jackson?
Fabulous idea. Great idea.
Oh, I have a question.
Ms. Dodd?
So did you go to school at Black Fox?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's what you said, yes. Awesome. And what grade are you in now?
I'm going into my senior year.
Oh, nice. All right, you're almost done, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
You can see the light at the end of the tunnel, I'm sure. Well, congratulations.
Congratulations. Any other questions? I don't know if you're done yet, Jackson. Hold on. This board can get chatty. Any other comments or questions about the Eagle Scout
I
project?
wanted to tell you thank you. I understand it takes a lot of work and effort to make it to Eagle Scout. You had to put a lot of dedication into this, and you've been doing this for how many years as a Boy Scout?
I started as a Cub Scout as Tiger, so about, yeah.
So this is a culminating event to that hard work. So we appreciate you thinking about Murfreesboro City Schools as you celebrate. Good job.
Yes, thank you. All right, and are you going to be the one, are you building the bench? Are you pouring the concrete? Do you have a team? How does it work?
Yes, I have some of my friends, family members, and other troop members of my scout troop helping me build the benches and place them into the ground.
Excellent, excellent. All right, any other comments or questions? All right, all those in favor of approving Jackson Baker's Eagle Scout project for Black Fox, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You're approved.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here to tell us about it.
No problem.
All right, this is a little less exciting. Sorry. Now we're moving into some policies. Sorry, Lauren. Next up, approval of Board Policy 2.100, fiscal management goals on first reading.
Right. Recent guidance from the Tennessee Comptroller Office and Fiscal Health Principles for Tennessee School Districts and Local Governments, which is a thrilling read, 5 stars, recommends that boards require annual internal control reviews. MCS Board Policy 2.100 has been revised to reflect this recommendation. Our internal controls are maintained through administrative directives, which are posted on our website. We also have some additional internal control manuals in individual departments. We also have Kim Fisher, who keeps us in line. Our staff recommendation is to approve changes to Board Policy 2.100 on first reading.
Thank you, Ms. Bush. Do we have a motion to approve the amendments to Board Policy 2.100?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Long. Any comments or questions?
It's not a buddy bench, but we'll take it.
Not as much fun.
Any other comments or questions? All right, all those in favor of approving Board Policy 2.100, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And it's approved. Another policy, this time Board Policy 4.6031, promotion and retention based on TCAP results on first reading. Ms. Bush.
Yes, so this revision is specific to 3rd and 4th grade retention. The proposed revision to this policy clarifies the 3rd grade promotion pathway that was based on the most recently administered state-provided benchmark assessment. This is consistent with changes to State Board Rule 052, well, I'm not going to say it. This is State Board Rule, also a thrilling read, 5 stars. The policy will specify for this pathway, the state-provided benchmark assessment is the Tennessee Universal Reading Screener provided by the Department of Education. The clarification does not create or require a separate 3rd grade benchmark assessment. It's just another pathway to promotion. Our recommendation would be to approve changes to Board Policy 4.6031 on first reading.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the changes to Board Policy 4.6031?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Long. Any comments or questions? All those in favor of approving Board Policy 4.6031, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And it's passed. Next, approval of Board Policy 5.200, separation practices for tenured teachers, and Board Policy 5.201, separation practices for non-tenured teachers.
Yes, Board, we grouped these together because the changes were substantively similar. And a lot of times when we're reviewing, because of a statute change, we'll also review the model policy for any changes that we can make to our board policy for the efficient operation of the school system. So these proposed revisions came from Public Chapter 898, which removes the local board's authority to file a complaint with the State Board of Education if we have a teacher who has a mid-year resignation without giving 30 days notice. State law requires a 30 days notice for a teacher contract if they terminate that contract mid-year. We also ask for 30 days in their contract just because of the disruption to the learning environment if we don't have that 30 days. The state law changed this year and prevents us from seeking suspension of a teacher's license for a mid-year resignation, and so the language in this policy changed as well. But we also, while reviewing the TSBA model policy language, found that there was additional language we wanted to add to our policy that authorizes the director of schools during an investigation to temporarily modify a certified employee's work status through reassignment to alternative duties, placement on administrative leave with pay, or temporary removal from the school setting as appropriate to address safety concerns or minimize disruption to the educational environment during an investigation. So this prevents the single option right now, which is suspension. It gives us more options. We don't have to jump straight to suspension without pay.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Bush. So we'll do a motion for both combined?
Yes.
Is your recommendation? All right, do I have a motion to approve Board Policy 5.200 and Board Policy 5.201?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Dodd. We have a second. Second. Thank you, Ms. Price. Any comments or questions about these policies? All those in favor of approving Board Policy 5.200 and 5.201, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And those are approved. Next up, Board Policy 5.310, vacations and holidays. Ms. Bush.
Not as fun as a holiday, again, but we have proposed revisions to Board Policy 5.310, and these changes are intended to ensure consistency in the district's administration of vacation leave for those employees who are eligible for vacation leave. The revised policy establishes the same vacation accrual rates for eligible classified and certified employees based on years of continuous service with MCS. It also clarifies the treatment of accrued vacation leave upon separation by limiting payment to the employee's accrued unused vacation balance up to a maximum of 30 days, and provides that employees terminated for cause or resigning in lieu of disciplinary action are not eligible for payment unless otherwise required by law. Additionally, the revisions authorize the director of schools to designate certain central office workdays as non-working days based on district operational needs. The policy also includes organizational and cleanup revisions to clarify vacation eligibility, accrual, scheduling, carryover, holiday observance, and related administrative procedures. It does look like one big red line throughout, so I just wanted to clarify. There are a lot of changes to this one. Our recommendation would be to approve revisions to Board Policy 5.310 on first reading.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve Board Policy 5.310?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Long. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Price. Any comments or questions?
I do. I have a
Thank you,
question.
Ms. Price.
So I was looking at the holidays that you get off, and I noticed that Juneteenth wasn't one of the holidays, but when they do summer school gets off for Juneteenth. So how could we add that to the list of holidays that
Sure. So
11th and 12-month employees get off?
The days off are at the discretion of the board. So if the board wanted to put Juneteenth as a paid holiday, then we would just add that to the policy for second reading. As you said, currently, because it falls during the summer, we do go ahead and adjust our summer school schedule to make sure students are not there, but our central office remains open. There are other districts that close for Juneteenth. I think the city also closes for Juneteenth. But ultimately, that's at the discretion of the board if they'd like to see that added for second reading.
Any comments, questions, motions?
I would like to see it added, but
Okay.
I don't know how.
Okay, I would support that.
You would support that? So I think we can, if
So
you,
we'll have to make an amendment.
right, so I think, Ms. Price, if you want to make a motion to amend policy, and Lauren, you correct me if I'm wrong, you can make a motion to amend policy 5.310 to add Juneteenth as an additional paid holiday from the district.
Yes.
You got it.
So I want to make a motion to amend policy 5.310 to add Juneteenth as a holiday for 11th and 12th employees.
It would be 12-month employees because 11-month employees are already off at that time.
Okay, 12-month employees.
All right, so a motion to amend has been heard, so now we need a second on Ms. Price's motion.
I'm a second to her motion to amend it. I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Okay, so now we're just focused on the motion to amend. So do we have any comments or questions on the motion to amend? Okay, let's vote on that. So all we're voting on right now is Ms. Price's motion to amend so that we add Juneteenth as a holiday here. All those in favor of amending the motion to incorporate Juneteenth, as Ms. Price stated, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries. Okay, so now we are back to sort of our first level motion for the whole policy, 5.310, which now has been amended to include Juneteenth in this list of holidays. So any further comments or questions on this whole policy, 5.310? Okay, hearing none, let's vote. So now we're voting on the amended policy 5.310. All those in favor of approving the motion as amended, please say aye. I'm sorry, approving the policy as amended.
Aye.
Aye, sorry, I cut that off. I think they already said aye. Any opposed? Okay, so policy is approved as amended. Great. Thank you.
Very impressive.
Ms. Fisher, we just wanted to keep you on your toes.
You guys are. I appreciate it.
Okay. Next, one more. No, we still have more policies past this. Sorry, false alarm. Board Policy 6.202, homeschools. Ms. Bush.
So the proposed revision to Policy 6.202 updates the district's homeschool testing requirements to comply with recently passed Public Chapter 912. The revision also removes language concerning the district's responsibility to follow up with homeschool students and require re-enrollment when there is evidence of lack of academic progress, as Public Chapter 912 removed that statutory requirement. So these are quite a couple, two different changes, changes in the statute, and our recommendation would be to approve changes to Board Policy 6.202 on first reading.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve Board Policy 6.202?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Price. Any comments or questions?
Okay. I have another question.
Take it away, Ms. Price.
Okay, so, get it right. So what are so can homeschool students participate in extracurricular activities along with maybe courses on the elementary level?
So enrolling in our courses is a no. They would not be able to enroll in our schools, and that's statutory language specifically there, but also reflected in our board policy. Extracurricular and facilities use is currently grouped together in the state statute, so that's a little bit more complicated of a question. How we typically handle it is that request would go to the principal, and then Ken Rocha would work with the principal to review the request, what they're specifically asking, if it's going to be a disruption to the club or the learning environment. Like, let's say they wanted to use the facility, like maybe one of our science labs during the middle of the day, that may be a little bit more difficult. But if they wanted to use it, during ESP time, and there was somebody to let them in, somebody to review their use of the room, that would be something we might entertain with the correct things in place. I hate to say it depends, but that's my go-to answer. It's always going to depend on the specific circumstances of the request, but we would review those, and those would start with the school principal.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions?
I have a question.
Ms. Dodd.
This is just our policy. This is not a state legislative thing, right?
No, this is state law now.
It is now.
Yes, they just passed it. It's Public Chapter 912, and I can provide that public chapter to the board. But this changed some homeschool testing requirements and then removed our ability to follow up on.
But this testing is not the same test that we take.
So
our children.
under the previous law at 5th and 7th grade, those students would come in and take the TCAP assessment that our students are taking in 5th grade and 7th grade for the county schools. This is another pathway, and they just have to take a nationally normed test that doesn't necessarily have to be in our school.
Okay, so they get to pick what test.
That is correct.
And just to follow up, and can take it at home, or does it have to be in a monitored?
It does have to be proctored according to the state guidance. It does have to be proctored by someone who's not a family member, but it does not specify where the assessment has to be taken.
Thank you. Any comments, other comments or questions? Ms. Long?
So if there's a student that is, according to this, that's falling behind, what is our responsibility or response to?
We no longer have one. No. So it used to be that through Ken's office, we would be monitoring it. This comes up quite a bit in truancy cases. We'll file truancy on a student, and the parent will, choose to go on the homeschool route. So we'll follow up on the progress of that student because they are allowed to do homeschool. That is an option for families. To the extent that the student is struggling or falling behind, the director of schools was able to require them to return to public school, and that's no longer an option under the state statute. So there is no real recourse now for a school district to follow if we have concerns about a homeschool environment.
So we are not accountable for their performance?
No, not anymore.
But they still have to register that they're a homeschool student with the city.
That is correct. So they would register with Mr. Roach's office as either an independent homeschool student or under an umbrella school. Is that correct, Mr. Roach? Those are the two that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the non-public schools would register online and give us feedback throughout the year or report it once a year.
So now we're accountable for only registration, really, as opposed to before in the past, you were tracking the progress? Just making sure I understand.
To be really upfront, when we look at independent homeschool, we receive the application, we receive the certification based on state law that talks about parent education levels, and then we follow up if they're in 3rd grade or 5th grade, we're looking at the assessment. So this year we had just a little over a handful. The family lets us know if they're going to take the TCAP or if they're taking something different. I don't recall off the top of my head if they're doing anything different. I don't believe anyone did, based on how my office reported to the instruction department. And then from there, the students come in and take the assessment. So the difference that you're going to see is we're not having a follow-up conversation regarding that piece. So where we typically have conversations with families when they're returning from any homeschool is when we take a diagnostic, which we really do for every student. So at the beginning of the year, we kind of see where they're at. If there's any concerns, it's a conversation that we have with the family regarding the student's best placement and what their academics need. Might be intervention, might be a grade level. Typically, it's the intervention piece that we talk about.
So they are responsible for turning in those scores to us at 3, 5, and 7, or not?
So again, under the new law, there is no requirement for us to track that
They're
assessment.
just responsible for taking the test.
They are responsible for taking it, but we will not be, under this new law, have the ability to, if they're falling behind, to take action.
Okay.
So just to clarify then, I'm just thinking about the children and their education. So if that's not going well, the kid really has no one kind of looking out for them outside of the home. Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I know that's not our policy, like that's coming to us from the state, but that seems like that's the outcome here, that there's not as much outside
There's no oversight.
checks and balances
Right.
for the child's education.
Right. There's less oversight of that. If they can go and take their own tests. Now, they can still, that's still an option. They can still choose, if they don't have the means to hire a proctor or go and do their own assessment, because those do cost money.
Sure.
They can still come and test with us, and then we'll report back on progress. But it's an option. It's not a requirement.
I think the most important thing to think about as parent follow-up is the attendance record they give at the end of the school year. So we follow up, we ask for the attendance record, we ask before they submit their next year's application, what is a minimum requirement is that they have attested that a student has 4 hours of instruction. When you compare high school, for example, that's when you start to discuss transcripts. We don't have that at the elementary school level.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay. All those in favor of approving our revised policy 6.202, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the policy is passed. All right, moving on to board policy 6.306, interference, disruption of school activities. Ms. Bush.
The proposed revision to Board Policy 6.306 incorporates public chapter number 850 and its requirements. Requires districts to notify parents when students are removed from a classroom or instructional area because another student's violent, aggressive, or severely disruptive behavior creates a safety concern or substantially disrupts instruction. There are limited exceptions that apply during ongoing emergencies or when an incident is under investigation by state or local law enforcement. And again, this is a statutory change that is required to be in board policy. Our staff recommendation would be to approve changes to board policy 6.306 on first reading.
Thank you. Do you have a motion to approve policy 6.306?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Long. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Dodd. Any comments or questions?
I have a quick question.
Ms. Long.
So it says the district is responsible. How does that look during the day?
We've spent a lot of time talking about this, so I'll defer to Dr. Duke because I'm sure he'll want to
Are you talking
explain.
about the communication? Is that
I'm
what you're
talking about the communication.
Sure.
Who's responsible?
Absolutely.
How does the communication happen?
So first of all, let me say, if we've had severe disruption in the past, we have always been proactive in alerting families. So this is not necessarily new. It just more formalizes that process. So Ms. Trail has been working. She has looked at the language of the law about what needs to be inquired, and she has some draft language that principals can adapt. And then Mr. Roche's team has created basically a flow chart to make sure that we meet all the requirements of the law. So if we have that situation where a situation occurs that requires us to evacuate a classroom, we would alert parents. So they would work with Ms. Trail. They'll have that language ready and then work with Mr. Roche's team to make sure we're alerting the correct people. We trained our principals on Friday, kind of on the system. So the pieces are there so that principals can act quickly. And the goal is that would be alerted most likely through email to the parents that day.
Okay. It's just another layer of a laundry list that the principals have to continue to perform. I mean, that's just a comment, sorry.
Yeah, we want to make sure that communication comes from either our principal or their AP, the designees, so that that parents have that information out. And so again, we wanted to provide those tools, and both Ms. Trail and Mr. Roche have done a good job kind of creating that to make it as easy as possible for our principals.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? All those in favor of approving Board Policy 6.306, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it's approved. All right, this one is our last policy for tonight. Policy 6.4053, Private Pay Applied Behavior Analysis Services. Ms. Bush.
Public Chapter 1112 requires school districts to allow qualifying private pay providers to deliver applied behavior analysis services to students with autism spectrum disorder or developmental delays during the school day. It also requires districts to adopt a policy governing provider access. Proposed Board Policy 6.4053 establishes a process for parent requests, coordination of these services and scheduling, professional and confidentiality expectations, interactions with other students, and termination of access for cause, as well as parent appeals. Our staff recommendation is to approve Board Policy 6.4053 on first reading.
Thank you, Ms. Bush. Do I have a motion to approve Board Policy 6.4053?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Second, Ms. Price. All right. Any comments or questions on this one? As long as that a comment with your face, or do you?
Since I'm sitting in David's seat tonight for me. This is coming from the state, correct?
Yes, this is a statutory requirement.
And typically, when something like this comes across our desk, we live with it for a year, and then legislators start getting hammered with comments and questions. So I can just see a lot of issues with this, but that's my comment.
Question though, they will be background checked. They will go through the processes that we normally have before they're entering the school, correct?
Yes, so we've spent a lot of time, and we're being very intentional with how onboarding looks. This is new for our district, and it's only, I will say it, so it's only behavior analysis services from specific providers for specific disabilities. So we're going to see what that looks like this year. But onboarding is going to include training in safety and security. It's going to include a background check. We do, again, if there is a disruption to the classroom environment or a provider comes in and tries to maybe tell a teacher how to teach, right? That's something that we can step in, and we do have procedures set up for that. Ms. Fairchild is going to be working very closely with the schools. And that process is going to start with Ms. Fairchild. But right now, we have an MOU. It's about 6 pages long, a memorandum of understanding that we are required to sign with each of the providers that's coming in. And it talks about FERPA. It talks about not being able to talk to any other students, what that communication looks like if there is a safety and emergency situation that comes up in the school during the school day. We are slow rolling it, though, so we can be very intentional and head off some of those problems before they become problems, and we've been working with Ms. Fairchild's office very closely. I will say, though, we've already had requests for services to start. All of those have originated from private pay providers, though, and not the parents themselves. Has to come from the parents, so we're creating a process for that and what that looks like. So a lot of things, a lot of moving parts right now, but I do think once we get through this year, see what the issues are, we'll have a good system set up.
So will the academic blocks be protected?
They're supposed to be.
Yeah, so we'll work through that out with the provider when we look at, and it'll be really, once it gets through Ms. Fairchild's team, we got the onboard, then we'll have that conversation at the school team, when will services take place, because we have to make sure it doesn't interfere with also IEP services that we're required to provide. So, and when we create those IEP services, we always look at that tier 1 time and that core content time. So those will be conversations we have with each individual provider about the individual needs of that student.
Thank you.
Question. So this cannot replace the times that we have for IEPs. This cannot be a replacement. It only can be an additional to.
Yeah, and that's correct. And I'll let Ms. Bush speak more, but the law specifically says that we cannot basically put this in an IEP. This would be in addition to IEP services we as the school system are doing, correct?
That's right. So we can't write these services into an IEP. There is some coordination with the IEP team, but the state did a training last week on the specifics of that, and even talking about what that looks like with the IEP team. It's not an IEP team meeting. So we've got to be very careful about the language that we're using, and it is highly legal, so we've been very involved. Ms. Fairchild and I have been looking at the specifics of that. But let's say we have a student who gets 35 hours a week of behavioral services in our school through their IEP. That's going to be really hard for a provider to come in and say, okay, I want to offer another like 20 to 30 hours, right? They're not going to be able to. So we're going to have to figure that out as well as we move along. Lots of hypotheticals, as you can imagine, right now popping up about what does this look like, you know. One of the hypotheticals the state was saying was, what if somebody wants to video in? Well, then you've got privacy concerns and audio and visual recording concerns. So we're working through all the things that the state law has brought up, but it does require the board to pass a policy, which is why we brought it before you guys tonight. And like I said, we'll be working through some of those considerations as we move through.
I think the most probably important thing is we've really emphasized that the process starts with the parent, not the provider. So anytime a parent reaches out to us about a concern, about something they feel like is best for their child, we're going to sit down and we're going to have that conversation. So, you know, as parents, as Ms. Bush said, several providers have reached out to us. Once we start having individual conversations with parents about specific students, then we'll be able to move quickly or quicker into that process to get those services started.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I had a lot of worries reading this, but I felt better after reading the policy because I feel like it was very thoughtful and tried to anticipate a lot of the things that I was worried about. You know, FERPA was one, you know, if someone's in there and then they go talk about what they saw in the classroom, that could involve other children, and are they bound? And so knowing that we have this detailed memorandum of understanding that the provider has to sign with us, that makes me feel a little better. There, of course, I know we can't foresee everything that will happen, but I feel a little better going into it, knowing that you have put so much thought into trying to put guardrails on this as much as we can at this point.
Yes, I will say I did not use, well, I took parts of the Model TSBA policy, but I did write ours from scratch because we have anticipated so many of the things. The state sent out an MOU template, which was, again, a great start, but we are very much making this individualized to Murfreesboro City Schools and the challenges and benefits that our team is anticipating.
Well, maybe they'll look at yours.
Yeah, that's
Model
right.
in
It's
the
always,
future.
I'll provide it to anybody.
All right, any other comments or questions? All right, all those in favor of approving Board Policy 6.4053, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that policy is approved. Next, approval of instruction on human trafficking awareness and prevention. Dr. Duke.
This also goes with the new law. It doesn't require a policy, but Public Chapter 744 does require all Tennessee public schools to provide age and grade appropriate instruction on child trafficking prevention and awareness as part of the health education curriculum. In addition to providing the instruction, the law requires that each school board approve the district's implementation plan, which is what we've provided to you tonight to meet this requirement. In Murfreesboro City Schools, we will utilize the second step child protection curriculum, which will be delivered by our school counselors throughout the year. This is a program we are already using in our district. The curriculum is designed to help students recognize unsafe situations, identify trusted adults, establish healthy personal boundaries, refuse unsafe interactions, and know how to report concerns. The lessons are developmentally appropriate for each grade level. They're aligned to the Tennessee Health Education Standards, and they're designed to progressively build students' personal safety skills as they move throughout the school year. We believe this approach not only fulfills the requirement of the state law, but also provides our students with important knowledge and skills to help keep them safe. So we are recommending approval of this plan as presented, and would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Board, do we have a motion to approve our instruction on human trafficking awareness and prevention?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Long. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Dodd. Any comments or questions?
Oh, I have a question. Are we already doing this, you said?
So our school counselors are already doing every spring, they do a child safety lesson unit with all of our students, and they use that second step curriculum. So again, we're being able to embed this into that kind of rhythm of trainings we already do with our students about just general safety.
So will this kick anything out of what we normally do?
No, it will not.
Okay, so just, okay. Any other questions, comments?
And Ms. Trail, are we offering the Parent University human trafficking, anti-human trafficking this year through NAHT that we talked about? Well, my point is we saw a presentation through NAHT, Nashville Anti-Human Trafficking Coalition, and so I think our parent universities are going to take advantage of that.
So there might be a complimentary, even if it's not official, for a complimentary program for parents?
We'll get with Ms. Lowe, who schedules all that out, and we'll get that date to you of when that's scheduled out for sure.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? All right, all those in favor of approving our instruction on human trafficking awareness and prevention, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it's approved. Next, approval of student fees for the school year 2026-2027. Dr. Duke.
Yes, each year the board approves known student fees before the school year begins as required by Board Policy 6.709. This evening, we're requesting the approval of 3 fee categories that will allow our schools to operate more efficiently while still maintaining board oversight. Specifically, we are requesting approval of all field trips up to $20 per student, 4th grade recorder fees of $10 per student, and student activity T-shirts of up to $15 per student. Approving these fee limits in advance allows schools to begin collecting funds as soon as the appropriate school and central office approvals have been obtained, rather than waiting for the next board meeting. This helps our schools better plan instructional activities and communicate with families in a timely manner. Any fees that exceed these approved limits or any additional student fees that arise during the school year will continue to be brought before the board on an individual basis at each meeting. We are recommending approval of these basic fees for the 26-27 school year, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Dr. Duke. Do we have a motion to approve the student fees for the 26-27 school year?
Moved.
Thank you, Ms. Long. A second from Ms. Dodd. Any comments or questions?
Question,
Mr. Campbell?
can you give us an idea of how much of an increase there are in these three fees?
They're the same amounts that we had approved last year.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? I like that we do this way. We used to not always have these sort of preemptive categories. We used to have these lists of every school and every little thing, and sometimes it was stressful for schools if we weren't going to have a board meeting in time. So this is really great. So
It's especially beneficial for all those fourth grade families that may get recorders coming home. We want to get those home as quickly as possible.
no delays in that.
No delays in those.
right.
Hot cross buns.
Track greased. That's right. All right. Any other comments or questions? All right. All those in favor of approving the 26-27 student fees, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the fees are approved.
One question, and I should have asked, does that mean that like on student t-shirts, student pays $15 and that's it, nothing else?
So what this does is anytime we charge a student a fee, the board has to approve that fee. And so we just kind of put that as a cap. Most of our t-shirts are not going to be $15, they may be $8 or $6, but that gives us a little room to go ahead and order those. We would bring, if a t-shirt was $16, we would bring that back to the board for additional approval. So really the board's just kind of approving that cap of it won't go above this without further board approval.
So that doesn't mean that every student is going to automatically pay $15?
It does not. No, it just, if the school, and really it's for a lot of our clubs may do that after school for clubs, they may charge a t-shirt fee.
Thank you.
All right. Next on our agenda is approval of participation in purchasing cooperatives for the new fiscal year. Dr. Duke.
State law allows school districts to participate in cooperative purchasing agreements with the approval of the local governing body. These programs allow us to purchase goods and services through competitively bid national contracts rather than conducting a separate bid process for every purchase. Approval of this resolution by the board will allow the district to continue to utilize organizations such as Buy Board, Omnia Partners, the Interlocal Purchasing System, CWG, and Sourcewell whenever it's in the district's best interest. Participating in these cooperative purchasing programs provide two significant benefits. First, they leverage the purchasing power of school districts and government agencies across the country. Then we're able to secure a more competitive pricing. Second, it reduces the administrative time and resources required to complete the purchasing process within our board policies while still ensuring compliance with state purchasing laws. I do want to note that approving this resolution does not authorize any specific purchase. Rather, it just provides the district the flexibility to use the cooperative purchasing contracts when they offer the best value. Any individual purchases above our amount thresholds would still come before the board for approval. So we are recommending approval of the resolution. We approve this each year, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Dr. Duke. Do we have a motion to approve the resolution to allow MCS to use cooperative purchasing agreements?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Price. Any comments or questions? All those in favor of approving this resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the resolution is approved. Next, approval of a contract for the Scales roof. Dr. Duke.
We are requesting approval of the contract with Escola LLC to complete a roof restoration project at Scales Elementary School. Maintaining our facilities is an important part of providing safe, secure, and well-maintained learning environments for our students and staff, and this project represents a significant investment in preserving one of our district's facilities. The project was competitively bid, and 8 vendors submitted proposals, providing a strong level of competition and helping ensure the district receives the best value for this important project. The proposed contract includes a base bid of $684,560, along with a 5% owner's contingency of $34,228. The contingency would only be used if unforeseen conditions arise during the construction, bringing the total project amount to not to exceed $718,788. Funding for this project will be provided by the City of Murfreesboro through their capital improvement budget, so there is no direct impact to the district's operational budget. I do want to say we discussed this briefly at our June workshop. Historically and typically, obviously, the board approves contracts prior to the city council approval. Because we went almost a month and a half between meetings, in this situation, city council approved it first. So we already have city council's blessing, which is great. Thank you, Mr. Shacklett. So now we just need the board's approval. Once the board approves it, Mr. Barch will start working with the team for next steps.
Thank you. All right, do I have a motion to approve the contract with Escola LLC for the roof restoration at Scales?
So moved.
I was in sync tonight.
Always
Thank
do
you,
this
Ms. Dodd. I have a motion from Ms. Dodd, a second from Ms. Long. Any comments or questions? All right, all those in favor of approving this contract for the Scales roof, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the contract is approved. Next, approval of the Middle Tennessee extermination contract.
We are requesting approval to continue to utilize Middle Tennessee Exterminating to provide pest control services throughout the district for the 26-27 fiscal year through statewide contract 136. Using the state's competitively awarded contract allows the district to receive established pricing while ensuring compliance with our state purchasing requirements. The services are essential to maintaining clean, safe, and healthy learning environments for our students and staff. Last fiscal year, the district spent approximately $44,000 on pest control services. With the addition of our new facility at 910 and anticipated service needs across the district, we are expecting to hit that $50,000 threshold this year. All costs will be paid from existing budgeted funds within our general purpose budget. We are recommending approval of the contract as presented, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the contract with Middle Tennessee Extermination?
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Price. Any comments or questions? I have a question. So we didn't bid this out. This is this kind of one of those where we latch on to a bigger contract that's already been established?
Yes, so the state operates through their CPO office, which I can't think of what that acronym stands for right now, but the CPO office bids the Central Procurement Office. Thank you, Dr. Duke. They bid that out, and then they allow individual governmental agencies to purchase off of it. It's a really great tool. We use it quite often. It's just that this one exceeds $50,000, but they bid it out, and they do it by districts. It's actually pretty cool. It's a pretty cool website.
Nice. All right, any other comments, questions? All right, all those in favor of approving this contract with Middle Tennessee Extermination, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the contract's approved. And our final item on our action agenda, approval of Johnson Controls Agreement for fiscal year 27 fire protection services. Dr. Duke.
Our final contract tonight is with Johnson Controls through statewide contract 172 to provide fire protection services throughout the district for the 26-27 school year. This contract covers a wide range of services that are critical to maintaining our safe schools and ensure compliance with fire and life safety requirements. These services include the inspection, monitoring, maintenance, and repair of our fire alarm systems, sprinkler systems, emergency lighting, fire extinguishers, kitchen hood suppression systems, fire hydrants, backflow devices, and other related fire protection equipment across our district. Again, using the state's competitively awarded contract ensures we receive established pricing while remaining compliant with our purchasing requirements. Based on prior expenditures and the district's anticipated service needs, total expenditures are expected to exceed $50,000 during the upcoming fiscal year. All costs will be paid from existing budgeting funds within our district's general purpose budget. And with that, we are recommending approval of the contract as presented.
Thank you, Dr. Duke. Do we have a motion to approve this contract with Johnson Controls for fire protection services?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Long. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Price. Any comments or questions? All those in favor of approving this contract, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? And it's approved. All right, moving on to reports and information. Our first report is personnel.
Yes, your personnel report is presented for you. This is the July, so it includes all of our teachers, our new hires that will be starting on Friday, July 31st. So this report encourages that, which is why you have those listed. We had this conversation in June as well because we did not have new teachers listed yet because they don't actually start until July. So we're happy to answer any questions you have, but that's provided for your information.
Thank you, Dr. Duke. Hearing no comments or questions, we'll move on to Director's Update.
Yes, thank you again. Just a few updates tonight as we end. I mentioned it, I'll keep saying it because I can't believe it's here, but this Friday, July 31st, we officially welcome back our teachers and our 10-month classified employees for the start of the 26-27 school year. As you heard from Ms. Arnett, they've been working a lot this summer, a lot of professional development, those that taught summer school, but the official school year starts Friday for our staff. Over the course of the following week, they'll be participating in professional learning both at the school and district level. They'll have classroom preparation time to make sure everything is prepared for our students to come back. That includes, as Ms. Terrell mentioned, our open houses, which will happen on August 5th. Our students will return for their first half day a week from Friday on August 7th. So that'll be a half day. And then we'll begin our kindergarten phase in the following week to help ensure that our newest learners have that smooth and successful transition to school. So, it's a very exciting time to see our buildings back to life after the summer months. I was at Irma Siegel today. It was fantastic seeing all those teachers in there. Can't wait to get everyone back. But it's going to be a fantastic year. And here we are. It's go time, as we keep saying. So for our families, I just encourage them to make sure they're checking out the website for school-specific information, registration information. As Ms. Terrell mentioned, it's incredibly important that they get our students registered so we know that they're coming, so they can reach out to us if they have any questions about that. And then finally, again, I don't want to just recap everything Ms. Terrell said, but I just can't say how proud I am of Amy Jackson being one of the 9 state finalists for Tennessee Teacher of the Year. There's a lot of teachers in this state, and for Ms. Jackson to be the finalist in the top 9 is just a huge honor. The last couple of years we've had some great recognitions with Kim Inglis being Middle Tennessee Teacher of the Year, Mr. Barch being Middle Tennessee Principal of the Year, Dr. Bullard being Middle Tennessee Principal of the Year, Ms. Presnell being or Dr. Pressel being State Supervisor of the Year. So Ms. Jackson just continues in that long line of success of our excellent employees, and I'm just so proud of her and just wanted to say congratulations publicly to her.
Excellent. Yes, I think Ms. Price and I attended a lunch for the new teachers, and Ms. Jackson welcomed them. And I felt like her few minutes of talking to those teachers was just the sort of the recommendation for her as to why she is a fantastic teacher. I kind of thought she should just be our full-time, welcomer for anything we have, because she did such an excellent job.
Pull her out of the classroom.
Anyway, any other business to come before the board tonight?
If I can ask, how many open positions do we still have? Is everything full? I mean, where are we on hiring?
I will ask Ms. Johnson to come up. I will say all of our classroom positions are full, so we do know all of our classroom positions. We do have a few special education positions that are still open. I think, is that correct?
You were
Dr.
awfully
Johnson?
comfortable over there, so I
I was. I put everything away. So we currently have 4 open CDC teaching positions. We're still looking for a best teacher as well as a vision teacher. So we have a total of 6 special ed positions that we're still working to fill. But we do have a plan.
Okay, perfect.
And we do have that financial incentive for the best teacher, correct?
Yes, with a $10,000 stipend. Let me advertise that. So $10,000 stipend for our best teacher, as well as for our CDC teachers. A new hire is $2,000 for that new teacher in a CDC position as well.
Thank you.
If someone's sitting out there and feels led to do that.
Watching our board meeting in their free time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And are we through with construction everywhere? I guess I need to ask that.
Yes, so the major construction, we had a couple major projects. I'll ask Mr. Barch to come up to the podium. A couple of bigger projects that happened this year. One was we replaced the doors at Mitchell Nelson Elementary School, got new security doors out there, and then also the ceiling project at Bradley. So I'll let you give an update on both of those.
All right, the ceiling project actually wrapped midnight last night, and there's still a little bit of cleanup going on with that, but I'm proud of our teams that have to come in the next day or two to get Bradley going. Teachers are being patient, and I appreciate that, but they're going to be able to get in there on their first day back. For a construction project of that size, that's good news. And then ABM is working well with us. The new doors at Mitchell Nielsen should be finalized in the next week or so, getting all the access controls and all those things squared away. And then several other little projects here and there are getting all wrapped up.
I will say with the ceilings, we've talked about this before, this was the third and final ceiling renovation that we'll do. It is a massive project. We did it at Mitchell Nielsen first, followed by Hopgood, and now at Bradley. They literally start the 2-hour day that our teachers leave. And those students, they start that day. There's a very strict timeline. I know it's hard for teachers to have to not get into their rooms over the summer, but you know, we appreciate their patience, and I think we are very glad to have all 3 of those ceilings replaced and be done with those projects for a while.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are we able to get the building clean and all the things?
That's what we're
before-
doing right now in these next 2 days. It's really been great to sync that with our tech team, maintenance team, and ABM to get that done. Lots of little things that have to get squared away that are.
Yeah.
And it's been, real proud of our teams.
ABM has worked with I think Mr. Burke said they had several school staffs in there today starting that work to get it done. It's a very tight timeline, but they've done the last couple years with us at both Mitchell Nielsen and Hopgood to make sure we're ready for teachers to come back. You know, we've had this conversation as well. Summer cleaning looks a little different now that our schools are open, basically 11 months of year with summer school.
Right.
And we've been getting trackers from ABM on a regular basis of what percentage they are at each school to make sure that they have those requirements done.
Okay, great. Thank
And
you
we
for
just
your
have a
work.
couple of schools, Scales has a touch-up, Bradley, obviously, and then Black Fox, they should be wrapped up with floors and everything as of today.
Okay, great. Thank you for your
Yes.
work.
Anyone else you want to bring up, Barbara, so they don't feel left out?
David's not here. I just figured I'd fill in.
I went by Mitchell Nielsen Saturday. And I'm gonna tell you what, I can remember years ago when Elvis was here in Murphy Center.
Elvis, is that what you said?
Yeah, but there was a bigger crowd, I think, at Mitchell Nielsen Saturday than there was for Elvis. There was a massive amount of people and young people. They were lined up everywhere. They were parked in the primary lot. They were parked in the school parking lot. It was a wonderful event.
That's a great partnership put on by our Family Resource Center, Ms. Lowe, that works with Lisa Trail's team and the Murfreesboro Muslim Youth. I don't know, Lisa, if you want to say anything specifically about it, but it was a great partnership and it's a great event.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, and as Lisa said, it really does take our community partners, and that's one thing I love about this time of year is just to see group after group come out to make sure every child is ready on day one with, you know, nothing like a brand new pack of crayons and some sharpened pencils and new clean folders.
That's right. Any other business to come before the board? Looking at you. All right. Anything else? All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr.
Second.
Campbell.
Second.
Second from everyone. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.